patient and soon it can all be worth it. All the searching, pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy. I need some silence, please, you're all too loud. You don't speak quietly, opinions violently thrown across every surface. It makes me nervous. Is the world honestly burning? That's all I'm learning. Hope that we can make a turn and start reversing all our minds and put the work in. We got some work, man. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through. Gotta get through this, life is a nuisance, tie up some loose ends. I try to be human, find a solution, my evolution. A place like this, it didn't exist, we made it like this. So you can go pick the bad or the good, got a glass halfway. I know, it's easier to hide than just to lay low. Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm standing in the red inside a payphone. Just wanna break, no, I'm not gonna give in. Take a last shot, Michael J. Win. No, I'm not a robot, I'm in my own skin. Never get lost when thoughts pull you in. I miss the old you, we died with a purpose. All the energy around me felt nervous, scared I would pop out fast to the surface. Had to cut it off before you made me worthless. Torn apart, I've been torn and scarred. I had a given art, but now I'm thinking smart. I'm keeping up my guard, I'm hiding every card. A royal flush of left, you never know what's hard. With a back to the mat, gonna see where I'm at. I'ma fight like I'm mad, I'ma be something that they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through.
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. Sorry if I blow your eardrums out. I did not adjust the music up, so I bet that was pretty loud for you guys. Sorry about that. But here we are. Bitcoin sitting at $68,000 currently. And it's been a little choppy. It has been a lot of fun to trade. I was doing quite well all the way through yesterday and today. I'm going to be honest. I got my butt beat a little bit today. I did. I've been brought back to reality, but all good. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the setups. We're going to talk about the process, what I've been doing to actually execute these trades. I think yesterday I was at something. I was like, I don't know, like 17 to 21 or 17 to 20 some trades. Everything was looking good. Today, you know, it's one of those things, man. You get a little arrogant and you're like, all right. And I accepted a little bit more risk than I should have. I should have just kept with, hey, be wrong quick and ride the train. And I didn't ride the momentum today, but you know, you journal it. You learn from your mistakes and you move on. That is part of the process. But let's say what's up to everybody in the chat, man. Much love to you guys for being here. We got Alexander G, the best mod in all of the space. We got Crypto Squid, my dude. Yo, what up to you? We got HRJ Trading. He said, let's begin the TA. You know it, dude. Thank you for being here. And of course, we got JR. What up, dude? Good to see you in the chat. Let's get this party started. First thing we're going to do is look at the bubbles. Here we go. Pippin down 30.5%. Morpho is up 8.5%. Meme coin or meme core, I believe, 7.8%. Let's see what we got. We got PI up 6.9%. Everything else, about 3-4%. Nothing too crazy out there besides Pippin. That's the only thing that's really divergent from the market. All right, over to the total market cap. That is 2.32 trillion, down 0.5% over the last 24 hours. Fear and Greed Index is at 13. I did see it as low as 8, I believe, a couple days ago. Now look at altcoin season. That is slowly creeping up. Now, I'm not saying altcoin season by any means is here, but one of the things we have been watching is the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has fallen again since the last time we talked. It is at 58%. Some of these altcoins, man, I was talking about that. They got to bear market lows. And when I'm talking about bear market lows, I'm talking about 2022 lows. So that's something to pay attention to, right? Because you get, at some point, you get into a value zone, right? Like a zone where people are like, damn, it's just so low that like, I'm inclined to buy it. And I've had some retail, friends hitting me up, asking me about Bitcoin and what I feel about it, current state where we're at price level wise. And, I'm like, hey, I started to DCA. And that's because I want to be into a position just in case the market reverses. I do have 2 points that are lower than the current price action, but I want to establish myself into a position because you don't want to miss it either, right? I know it's a little FOMO-ish, but at the same time, there's a plan there in place based on the 4-year cycle and going down 70 to 75% potentially. Not saying it's going to, but if it does, I'm primed and ready to go. But with altcoins, they've been decimated. They've been getting their butts whooped for, it feels like, the better part of a year now. 2024, you did have that altcoin whack-a-mole a little bit, different coins popping at different times. But it's time to pay attention. It's time to pay attention because they are moving in parallel and sometimes exponentially now in conjunction with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's going up, but some of the altcoins are moving at a faster clip. That happens when you start seeing Bitcoin dominance fall, right? That's something that we have been taking note of. Bitcoin dominance was pulling back a little bit. All right. So that is why you see this metric here kind of going up. All right. So again, keep an eye on that. Let's go over to the first bit of news here. We're going to keep it quick. CFTC chair says they will future-proof crypto regulations. We can't allow Gary Gensler 2.0 to come in and tear it all up. Got it. Cool, man. I love it. But show me the money, Jerry. Show me the money. Let's see it in writing, okay? Let's agree on everything. Let's get the law approved, get the regulations out there, provide the clarity. You asked Brian Armstrong to come in and help you guys with some of the language, and you pulled the okie doke on him. So it's still in flux. All right, no matter what they're saying, until I see, hey, this is it, and this is the actual regulations, and here's your clarity, and people are kind of on board with it. Then we can get a little bit more bullish behind that news. All right, let's go over to 2bit. Seeing here, we are, look at that P&L, man, for today. Horrendous. $600, man. That's no bueno, but that's all good. It's all good. I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about it because we started this account with 10,000. We are at 14,447. So yes, we were up as high as 50% yesterday. A little pullback today. It hurts a little bit, but that's okay. It's okay. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. It's about maintaining your composure, not over trading, not trying to revenge trade, which is going to be a big battle for me today. Not going to lie, because I'm looking at something juicy right now. Nice little wick coming in, taking some liquidity. And you do see a pretty strong horizontal there, as well as you got a little micro trend that is broken. So, that's something to keep an eye on. That is something to keep an eye on. Let's go over, actually, because I am interested. I am a degen, I guess, at heart. Let's go ahead and look at Market Monkey Terminal. What do we got going on here? All right, you got a high volume area node. Yeah, you got a big node there. So this could be, really telling for Bitcoin right now. And really, you're still seeing like CVD is not looking like super strong. For the day, it is. For the day, it does look quite nice. Let's look at open interest, but that is still kind of, that was horizontal. Now starting to trend up, but on the smaller, like probably a lower time. Well, we're on 5 minutes, but even lower. You can see that little tick down there, giving you your first little sign of weakness after that, right? This is a little bit more aggressive, this right here, than what we were seeing. But you had an aggressive push up, but you pushed up into a horizontal level. Do you have asks, which is shorts or sell side pressure, stacking over top of it? So let's go over here. We got 68220. Let's see, that puts you right about here. All right, on the chart. So yeah, you do have about 124 size wise. I don't know that that's all that interesting. What's your delta? Yeah, it's nothing too crazy there, to be perfectly honest with you. However, you're getting your first little indication of a potential, I'll say, I won't say pullback, but a little cool off. Let's go over to the chart on the actual trading view chart here. Actually, yeah, let me take that back. Let's go to liquidity. We always look at the liquidity before we get to the charts because we like to mark those out. So your liquidation area, your hot spot on the map is about 69,250. All right, that's your hottest spot. But I mean, the liquidity is starting now. We're already reaching in there a little bit, dipping our toes and starting to work on some of that liquidity on the daily. Let's look at the 3-day, see where you're sitting at. And it's quite a bit higher. So really, you got something to work with on the daily. Let's see what we're talking in terms of dollar amounts here. 100 million, 104 million. So yeah, you got a few 100 million of liquidity sitting around there at about 69,250. Let's mark that on the chart. We'll get rid of that. That was something I was looking at, and that actually did play out. Let's see, 69,250. All right, I think I got that locked. Let's go ahead and mark that. 69,250. There we go. And we'll go down to the lower time frames. Let's look at 15-minute. Oh, look at that. So you got the orb and you got the top of that channel there. 618, high volume. This was the play, right? There's your SFP. Now you do need some candle closes on the backside of that. But I mean, like in terms of probabilities, that looks a little bit better than what I did this morning, of course. I was looking at a lower horizontal level. I was starting to get, kind of a similar setup in terms of starting to see that CVD come down. Open interest was going horizontal. So that was basically what I thought. You were starting to see a little absorption, but it just blew right through that. And I had a lot of momentum. Had a lot of momentum kind of pushing through that zone. But this is definitely the better area. I would say the higher probability area, knowing that you have a trend line. Now, that's not a perfect trend line too, right? I just kind of took it and I was like, where do you get, a lot of the touch points there? And we could even say it's a little bit lower, pretty much about where we're at right now. I try to just incorporate like as many touch points as I can. So it's a very generic trend line. It's not a like, right off the wick kind of deal. But again, knowing you have the 618, the orb, all right, top of the orb there, that is interesting. All right, so let's see if we get that continuation with CVD and if open interest aligns. Let's go over to the chat real quick, see what you guys got going on in here. We got Andrew Cameron in the house. What up to you, dude? Good to see you, my guy. We got, is it J Taka? I don't know if I got it, man. I'm just going to call you JT, man. I'm going to call you JT, but hey, what's up to you? Thank you for being here as well. All right. I'm back over the chart, getting a little bit of a push up. Pushing up right now. Back up, kind of retesting that level. Let's go to Kayotaka. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, I say nosy gozies, right? You're not seeing what you want to see with the CVD, and this is on the 1 minute. Okay, so you haven't even really broken structure for CVD on the 1 minute. I would be hard pressed to take a short, unfortunately, until I see something that indicates to me that this is going to start rolling over or bending over. Now, one thing too, I'd say you could argue for is that there may be a little bit of divergence here, right? If you're looking at, you know, from this high right here, let's go ahead and mark that. If you're looking at this high right here to this high right here, doesn't want to let me do it. There you go. All right, so you are seeing that the CVD trending down from that point to that point, but right now, you know, CVD is pushing up, you know, on the, we'll say the near term right now. So that would be hard for me. The other thing too is look at, it's empty up here, man. There is not a lot in terms of orders sitting on the books. Now that's not everything, because remember CVD is going to be market and then this is going to be passive. You know, the orders that you see on the books here, right? Those are limits. However, you are getting a little bit of a rejection there. Let's go back to the chart. I mean, that, man, right off the top of the orb. Sometimes I'm like, I think about like, do I just take that level, the 618, the orb, the trend line, the confluence is all right there, and then just put a tight stop right over top, you know? Like that's crosses my mind sometimes, even though that's not, but look how aggressively it's rejecting from that area. Sometimes missed opportunities when you're doing it this way. Look at that. It's rejecting off that area pretty hard. So the problem that you run into sometimes when you're playing these reversals is that, you know, inherently it's going to take some time for this to develop a trend when you're looking at the CVD as well as open interest. Now, there will be times that you'll see prices going up and CVD is clearly going down, creating a real divergence. Now, if I had a real divergence, like, so right now, CVD, price action, align, open interest, all aligned. That's unfortunately, you know, kind of bullish moving into that region or that zone. So you don't want to try to short that, because what is it telling you? That means that positions are being opened and those positions are aggressive long positions, right? So like you don't want to try to short that. Even though I tried to get ahead of it a little bit earlier, thought I was smarter than the actual terminal or the order flow, we'll say. I'm gonna get rid of this real quick. Sorry about that. Coming back over. There we go. Man, that's a freaking tough rejection there. Sorry, just closing some of my tabs. That's one of those times you would have liked to just go ahead and position yourself and just have a tight stop over top. But again, man. Well, you know, I did say on Market Monkey Terminal, you're getting your inkling, your first little inkling of weakness there. But it's not showing the same here on Kayotako on the 1 minute. I guess right here. Maybe that's what I was seeing. Just this little piece right here. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. All right. Man, wouldn't that be something? Comes right back to the zone I was looking at. That's the way it works, man. That is the way it works. It is what it is. But yeah, that was probably the zone here for a quick little scalp. Unfortunately, wasn't able to jump on that one. Dang, I missed that one. I think that one's on me. Came to a key horizontal and this right here. So this CVD, yeah, I just missed that one. It's a little harder to do this live, huh? Not that I missed it. I even called it out. Stupid. Right there. And then you got to your key level. Yeah, it sucks. See that move right there? That would have put me right back even for the day. All good, all good, all good. Let's move it on. Let's move it on. That's cool. All right, let's look at USDT dominance. See what we got going on here. Getting down to the 618 golden pocket here. Looks like you're getting a little bit of a bounce. All right, that was an area we are. Oof, that's tough though. That's tough though. USDT dominance looking a little bit weak. Really is. You're getting below the VWAP, some high volume areas. Looking a little weak. That's a good thing though. That's a good thing. Remember, inverse correlation between USDT dominance as well as Bitcoin. And I mean, really, look at this spot right here. So this is a spot I'd say to really concentrate on, right? Two reasons. You got high volume, 0.786. You can see trend kind of working its way up. But I would say that, you know, you could see a bounce out of that zone. And what does that mean? If you were to see a bounce, that's obviously the inverse correlation, right? So if USDT dominance go up, then Bitcoin go down, but that leaves you some room there, right? See that continuation down to the 0.786. That would actually allow for Bitcoin to go up. That is what you would like to see if you want Bitcoin price to go up. So keep an eye on that at a nice little level right now to kind of keep watch for USDT dominance. Let's look at the total market cap. Let's see here. Here we go. This is the one we want. Looking very similar to Bitcoin. Getting up to the top of the orb, 618, high volume area. Aligns. Oh, you also got a, is that a weekly pivot? Let me see here. Yeah, it's the weekly. Man. This is going to be interesting because I would say, pretty key level. Pretty key level. So Bitcoin showing a SFP while total market cap showing a change of character. Very interesting. I mean, it got a rejection, but look at how it's pushing. Let's go back to Market Monkey. Take a look-see. Yeah, man, it's still... Look, open interest is really still trending up. Could have got probably a scalp in that little area right there. But... let's see what CVD. Man, that one's kind of tough too. Yeah, you got a little pullback off of a key level, right? Like in that, understand there's a psychology aspect to that. You know, you're at the 618. You're at a key level, right? You can see where there's prior resistance as well. So there's going to be traders that are looking at that area, high volume area as well. But CVD, I mean, you would have liked to see a continuation. It did kind of break down the little trend that it had going on, but all in all, it still hasn't set a new low, right? Pretty damn close, but what you are starting to see, though, some orders pop up right here. Doesn't mean everything, but it does mean something. See how there's some orders, and they're kind of tiered right now. You got 200 there, 200 there. That one just probably lost the threshold, so it just fell under 200. That's all. So it's not a spoof. It's not like on and off. It just fell under the threshold. And they're starting to, looks like, reduce some of the positions here. Might be getting scared. 68,230. Let's see where that's at. 68,230. So that's this right here. So I'm just coming over to the orders here. Wick's wife, what up, lady? Good to see you. Good to see you. Check Kayataka real quick. Interesting. Just looking at the trend here from from peak to peak there, high to high. Still really seeing, you see how it's starting to roll as well? The CVD starting to roll, but the trend is kind of working its way down. This one's a little tough. This one is a little tough. I would like to see some more asks stack above. It's a little high. So what I've noticed when they try to really push the price, or when price starts moving, they'll put these orders really close to the price action. I mean, like just above. Let me see if I have any examples of that. Like right here. That's 500, over 500 Bitcoin right there that they pushed just under the price. So you see, you bounce off the area of support, right? CVD started working up, open interest started working up, and then they came in and was like, hey, we're going to further support this move by putting some orders right underneath of the price action. This is I like, all right? Because then what are you seeing? All right, seeing CVD working its way up. See open interest working its way up. And then you get those orders underneath. That's something I would like to see where we're at right now. And then ultimately, what'd you get? A nice move to the upside. So I would love to see something like that over here. But what are you seeing actually? Orders are coming in below the price action. Even though, yes, you are trending, you know, from high to high to the downside, you know, getting a little bit of rounding. That's kind of tough. Now, it could be absorption, right? Because it's going horizontal. And open interest ultimately is starting to ever so slightly trend down. Also rounding, though. Not sure it's really meeting all the wickets for me. Retro Mike Tech, what up, man? Hope all is well with you, brother. Not really ripping through a top-down analysis or TA, to be honest with you, man. Just looking for a trade setup live, potentially. We'll see. Starting to get a move. Is it enough? Let's zoom out a little bit. Sometimes you gotta zoom out. You get too soda strawed. Yeah, one of the big things for me is just, I would like to see some orders stack above it. Feel like you're in no man's land. And I don't like having all this liquidity over top of me, but could we get something in the short term before it, you know, it tries to push up and take that liquidity? What do we say, 69,250? Yeah, 69,250. Where's that on the chart? That's way up there. Yeah, MMT though, a little bit different. MMT is showing you it didn't really waver all that much from that high, right? You actually got a little divergence. Right, so the price went up, got some order stack in there. MMT though was saying, hey, we're going down, and continuation down with CVD. Does look different than Kayotaka. Now open interest, you're like, well, if open interest is going up, what does that actually mean? Well, really, if open interest is progressively working its way up, that means that more orders or they're opening positions, right? So if they're opening positions and those positions are aggressive to shorts, it looks like the play would have been down. And there she go. I think I was sleeping on that one, fam. I gotta be honest with you. Gotta be honest. We'll be sleeping here together, I guess. It's really hard, right? Because you got to make your decision, like not based off this. We can hindsight it all day, but we didn't have all of it, right? We had this. You know, was that enough at that point? Right here. And that's the thing that you really have to take into consideration, especially when you're listening to people trade, content creators. This was all the data we had. Right? As price action was still pushing up a little bit. Open interest was coming down. So that's the data we had to work with at that point. Now, the other thing we had was the chart itself, right? That was a really nice level. And that one, you know, the interesting thing is, like, you know, before I started using Market Monkey Terminal, that's something I probably would have jumped in on, just given all the confluence in that zone, blindly. So, all Gucci. Now we wait. So let's go ahead and look at a couple things. We'll look at Ethereum. Nice little rejection for Ethereum there as well. You did push up, but you did not take everything. Definitely some liquidity up here, though. There's no doubt about it. So from here to here, let's see, really just right there is where you got. So yeah, this wake up. Cool. Right there. It's a nice little liquidity spot. So you've taken, you know, a healthy portion of it, right? That's sometime enough to make it the exchanges happy. But you are coming back down to the orb, right? 15-minute opening range breakout there. Retesting that on the top side. Let's see. Let's just zoom out just a little. Give you guys something, at least with Ethereum. Yeah, pretty solid area consolidation here, man. Range bound, for sure. Would love to see a breakout if you guys are looking for more upside. If we break out, kind of get over this liquidity. But I mean, you are kind of getting into an area. Let's bring in some more of the price action here, just to see if this remains. There you go. So, nice little gap here. So there's your high volume area node right there. Where does that put you on a fib? Let's look at that. Around the 618. Could argue we go to this one here. Doesn't make much of a difference. Yeah, so for Ethereum, you want to break this level around, right around 2000, honestly, 2020-ish. And then if you get a little push up, I think this is probably the safe bet if you're looking for an intraday type trade in terms of where you would get out. So you would look for a breakout, retest, and then come up to about right there. You're front running the high volume area node by a long shot, but I'm looking back left and just looking at some of the horizontals as well. Really big on that. See how those kind of fall within that window of the golden pocket. That's something that's important to me. Even though you have the high volume area node, you may push up and see a rejection off of that and ultimately come back down in the range, where at that point you would probably look for a quick short coming down to retest the highs of the previous range. But yeah, that's what you gotta wait for, and you're gonna have to see a big push up. Like, this isn't gonna be one of those things where you just kind of slowly grind your way up. Usually you see a nice little pop when you break through the top of a range, right? Get an impulse move, get a large body candle that looks, you know, a little bit more aggressive. You know, something like this. Get a nice candle like this that pushes through the highs, right? And really establish yourself on the high side of the range, or to the top of the range. That's something, you know, that would interest me in terms of looking for, okay, are we going to get a breakout retest? And I'd say your probability goes up a little bit if you have a candle that looks like that. All right, that's kind of your key indication there, right? You don't want to see a wick. You see a wick, that just means that they're likely grabbing liquidity and selling pressures coming in. And then at that point, you're going to end up upside down. More times than not. I won't say every time, but more times than not. All right, let's go back. What's Biddy doing? Still getting that nice rejection, coming all the way back down to VWAP. That's been my play, is exiting my trades at VWAP a lot of times. Golly, what was I doing? I was sleeping, man. Mad at myself. Mad at myself. I was sleeping at the wheel, baby. A to Ace, what up, bro? What up to you? Crypto Crank, how you doing, brother? Good to see you in the chat, man. Sleeping at the wheel, man. I bet you took this trade. This looks like a crank trade right here. Right there. I know you like the trends and having a confluence at the top of a range. That looks like your thing right there. Hope all is well with you, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Tell me your next week's outlook. You know, I don't try to predict too much. I'm more of an if-then guy, right? So, and it's not like being like a sleazeball in terms of, hey, you said it could do this or do that. It's how I trade. And how I trade is I sit back and I'm patient and I wait for the price action to come to me. And then I evaluate it when it interacts with a level that I'm looking at. That's literally how I trade. So what I will say right now, look, the trend is pointing to the downside. So if you get a continuation of the trend, I think that, you know, you can extrapolate and you would project that it would continue to push, right? Is there a little bit of bullish news out there right now? I guess, you know, but you never, that can change at the drop of a hat. You know, honestly, let's be real. At any point, you know, some news could come out and move the market. So, you know, yes, we pay attention, but do we put everything into it? Not really. But what you're looking for, again, is like, hey, if we get something, right? Let's say we break the trend or we break this high volume node that's sitting around 69K, you know, that's going to make you feel a lot better about seeing more upside, right? So that's kind of how I like to approach things. Like, all right, cool. We got this here. You know, you got some liquidity right there. If you break that with any kind of conviction, you know, if you come up and you do that retest, then you're looking for continuation. So that's how I would approach that. When you're, you know, following a channel, lower highs, lower lows very clearly, then you honor that. And if you're trading, one of the big things that I'm very cognizant of is if I were to take a long position, let's say I took the orb play today, right? I did not, but let's say that I did. All right. I took it from the, if I were to have taken it from the bottom of the orb there, right? Then, you know, you stay within the trend. So if we know we have this trend, we know we have the 618, you know, at the top of the orb, all kind of lining up, you know, it would probably be a little silly to try to take that, especially an intraday trade, past all of that confluence, right? Like that would be where you stop. That's where you say, okay, I'm good. You know, me personally, I probably would have exited at the VWAP, full transparency. It's just been what's worked for me lately. But here and there, you know, right now, it's in a channel, the channel's down, and you respect that. You respect that until it shows you something different. So that's kind of how I approach it personally. That all being said, not necessarily a bad thing. Even if it does go down a little bit lower, it's not great. It's not necessarily a bad thing either, because you're just really, you could just be setting a higher low. Even if it goes down a little bit, you can still set a higher low. But I mean, right there is a really nice zone there between the golden pocket, the 786. Always a, you know, I would say a little bit higher probability to see reversals out of that zone. 618 is great, works good. 0.786 works great. But you know, anywhere between those two is also just a nice spot to look for reversals as well. So again, my, like larger time frame stuff, not even large, but 72 to 74, been pretty vocal about that area for a number of reasons. You got liquidity above, obviously this swing high, but that's, there's liquidity. You're going to get a change of character. There's a lot in terms of confluence between moving averages. Let's move that. Let's put that on. That's on the 15. Let's go to the daily. I believe you have one of the moving averages working through that. Yeah, it's the 50. Is it the 50 or is that the... Did I change my colors? I may have changed my colors. I would do some crazy stuff. Okay, there we go. Let's bring this up. Let me see if I got my sense. It's 21 is the white moving through that zone right now. 50's up here, kind of working its way down as well. So yeah, you got moving average there, really strong horizontal in terms of this previous range, and that's really the area you tested before continuing that move to the upside, setting the all-time high, right? So, that's an important level, and it changes, right? It changes the structure of what we're seeing right now. You get above this, you break this horizontal level, and then you start pushing up a little bit. What that looks like. Get on top of this stuff, and then you're looking for that move up, right? That's what kind of changes the game for me in terms of getting a little more bullish. So keep an eye on that. Let's go back here real quick. Got a nice little bounce off of that horizontal. I believe VWAP was around there as well. If you're going to, let's go to the 5 minute. Yep. Yeah, man. Turn moving averages off. It gets crazy. Yeah, so you came right down close to the VWAP, little volume node there. Trying to push down again. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's still showing a little weakness here on the CBD. I'd like to see that kind of push above, right? That'll give you a little warm and fuzzy that you'll see maybe a bounce out of that area. But the open interest is still working to the upside. So there are positions still coming in. Very slowly. It's a slow move up. But you are still seeing some positions coming in. Or being opened at least. It's just a matter of, are those positions longs or shorts? And that's what CBD will help with. I don't know what I just closed there. There we go. Just seeing what orders are above. Yeah, so you got some orders below you as well. Not much though. Not enough to even pop up on the map here. There we go. There's one. It's popping up. One right there. So that's not going to tell you much. Let's see on the 1 minute. Little horizontal you're flirting with right now. Pushing through. All right, let's look at some of the alts real quick. The Cardano. What in the hell is that? I do not want that alert. Show breakout alerts. All right, cool. Ugh, what is that? Turn off. Literally just clicked it. All right, let's just zoom out on Cardano. Just do a little top down here. Bear market lows for Cardano. You can see my DCA points. And really, this is another one right here. Down at the lows. Unbelievable. That came all the way down here. So, but that's why I think you're seeing a little bit of an uptick on some of these altcoins. I mean, you came down the bear market lows. This even went below it. This went below the 2023 low. Crazy. That is a position I am upside down in. I'll be honest about that. Not a large position. Like I said, I only put $1,000 a spot at a time. I didn't like ape into it. I think I brought my cost basis down to 32, so we're not too far off. But it is going to be a big decision when we come back right here for Cardano at about 33 cents. Because you could very likely see a move up and then reject back down. Right? It's going to be a big decision point for me. I got to be honest. Really big decision point. Do I just break even? That might be the smart thing to do. Let's really think about that. So break even and then wait for it to pop back above the zone there. And that would probably be the more conservative play. You got a big high volume node there as well. That's probably the conservative play, to be honest with you, is that I exit at break even and then wait for it to get back above the zone. I will lose a percentage, a few percent once it establishes itself above. Hopefully it doesn't move too fast, comes down and retest. Let's actually use this. Keep using the brush, and look for something like this. And then look to get back in and then push it back up. Because that was my original exit and entry, right? So what my plan was ladder, ladder, ladder. And then I was going to take it back up to entry. However, given the way this looks, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. I got to be honest with you. Sometimes, you break even, live to fight another day. I might highly consider that. I'll let you guys know if that's the route I take. Let's go to AVAX. Where are you at, AVAX? There you are. Upside down in this one too. There we are. Yes, buy zone. And buy zone. So this was the one when it broke down below that. I was like, man, I should have hedged. I should have hedged the position against that and taken a short. All right. Not always a bad idea. Not always a bad idea to hedge, a position. And I could have taken it down, but didn't take that route, unfortunately. So here I am with 2 positions on AVAX, or not 2 positions. I mean, I am in one position, but my cost base is down here in the middle. But the good news is, hey, like we've held, right? We held at least the low, which is not super great. But what we'll be looking for, I might just have to hold this for a while and ride this back up to my initial entry. So, understanding my cost basis is down here in the middle. Looking for just swag it. About 20% gain there for AVAX. I feel a little bit better about AVAX than I do for Cardano, but that's just a personal thought. Run up to 31 to 32 for ADA. I mean, it could. It could. I hope it does. Because that's my cost basis right now on Cardano is 32. So this has been a brutal pullback. So the reason I'm looking at that area is, I mean, it's probably one of the clearest horizontals on the chart, honestly. Is right at about a 33. All right, so you have the support level here. You have that push through, right? You get an impulse move through, and then you come back left and you have the value area low. All right, so there's a lot of confluence there, and then you're working right into a high volume area node. So it could go up a little bit, but it's really just kind of front running that area to a sense. Not even completely front running it, but hey, like you see a little bit of volume there. That all really aligns at 33. It's a pretty clear area. So a push up to that zone for me might be where I have to cut ties here and just let it push through. And if I get a push through and then a retest of the zone, see some buying pressure coming in, right? We start to see some positive momentum off of this area, then I jump back in, and that's fine. It's not gonna hurt my feelings to lose a few percent. Like what am I looking at from here to here? 7%. But ultimately, that protects me from seeing something like this where it goes up and just continues down, or it just comes back down here. So it's conservative. It's probably what I'm gonna end up doing, to be honest with you. But the potential is, if it does breakout retest there, then the potential, move. Realistically, let's just take it to here. About 30% move. Like I'm not gonna be mad at that. Even if we took it a little lower, 25%. Just looking at the horizontals. 20-25%, I'm cool with that. Not gonna be mad about that at all. So Rashad, what up, man? What up, Ben? How you doing, man? Thanks for streaming on YouTube. Can't watch on Discord. Internet too slow. Right on, dude. I got you, man. I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sold out my phase 2 and have 31.5k ADA to buy as much hardware as I can. Yeah, I'm sitting on 30,000 ADA myself. So nice little bag, man. Would have loved to see it be hold up a little bit better. And I would have exited that at about 50 cents or so is what I would have been looking at. And that would have been, a nice little return. Would have been a real nice return. But it's all good. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin real quick. Let's see what that's doing. 67, so it's still pretty solid rejection. Let's go down to the 5 minutes. There we go. There's VWAP. So that's it, man. That's what I've been doing mostly. I didn't take this trade. I wish I was more in tune. It's kind of hard, like, doing it live. But yeah, the 618, there was a little bit of weakness on MMT. Coming down to VWAP. That's where I've been exiting these trades, like, consistently, is at VWAP. Get the rejection, exit VWAP. And you're just in. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, 0.68. That would have been good for what I'm doing. Unfortunately, didn't jump on that one. So, keeping it transparent, guys. Let's see here. Look at coin real quick. Coinbase. I know that came down to a area I was interested in. Yeah. That's a nice push. Yeah, nice little zone I was looking at right here for Coinbase. I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than this. Let me see here. Where's the brush? Where's the brush? I mean, you can see right there, and right there. Would be interesting to see a move, a solid move to the upside. It's already had a solid move. I think it was up like 17% the other day. What's that move there? let's say you bought here. 10% move. That ain't bad. And that's not even taking the full low. All right, come back to Bitcoin. Let's see what we got going on here. Little bounce off VWAP. Ah, just saw something. So you guys get me. So this is what I was talking about right here. They've taken it off, but you'll see this sometimes as price is driving down. They'll put these little orders right on top of it to continue to push price down. Now they've taken it off the book, so it's not going to get filled, obviously, but see CVD kind of going horizontal here. So price, a little divergence in the price action. Price, not true divergence, but you can see how price is kind of setting lower lows. CVD went horizontal. You got a big spike in open interest. Big spike in open interest. That's interesting. It's a pretty gnarly little candle there. Am I staking? No. I am not staking. I already know you're going to yell at me. Don't waste your time. It's easier if you just call me stupid. I wasn't hoping to be holding it that long. All right, interesting. Sure enough, though, it did reject from right about that area, even though they took those orders off. Yeah, that was the jam right there, man. It is what it is. Open interest still working its way up. Trending up. So this is good. Right? What does this mean? Like there's positions being opened, right? That means the market's getting a little more active. Definitely getting a little more active. Now understand that this is just positions being open. Doesn't necessarily equate to which way the price is going. It's a very important piece of understanding that. Can be a little deceiving sometimes because you'll see when price pulls back, you'll see sometimes it'll pull back with the price action. And then sometimes you'll see that it'll be pushing aggressively to the upside. And you're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, it's when you come to, that's when you turn to CVD to kind of get an idea, start forming that that bias, right? So orders still coming in here. But you can see CVD starting to kind of really fizzle out. showing much strength, honestly. All right, fam. Well, I think it is about time to roll. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show today. I know I wasn't able to take any trades. I should have definitely took one earlier, but we didn't jump on that. All Gucci. Hope everyone has a great day. I'm gonna go have some lunch with the family, and then I will be over in the Discords. I'm gonna be pushing most of my stuff over to Alex's Discord. I just got the affiliate link figured out today, and so you'll start to kind of see that more of that transition here. As you guys can see, if you were in Alex's Discord yesterday, I was very, very active, going through the trades that I was looking at and taking, and then kind of back briefing you a little bit on some of the ones or some of the positions that I got into, and why I took those positions. And mostly it was order flow. Most of it was order flow, and that was kind of the basis for getting into a lot of this. But yeah, hope you guys have a good one. As always, much love for being here. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. Come on over to 2bit if you guys want 20% off your trading fees. That's for both futures and spot. I'll do that little shill right there. It's a TF Save 20. So come on over and support me if you would like. I would appreciate it. Also, if you guys are in my Discord in the Trade Brigade and you use that code, I will be able to pull you over to Alex's Discord within my section. Okay, so understand that you won't get full access to the entire Discord, but you will get full access to me and my content within Alex's Discord, simply by signing up for a 2bit account. So definitely do that. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Much love to you guys. I appreciate you. Have a good one. As always, trade safe, be safe. I'm out. I don't know why my song's not playing. I guess I'll have to do it manually. I got you guys, though. Don't you worry.
Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.